Hi everyone, my name is Rebecca Auerhan with 401k Marketing, and today we are going to speak about mircoPOWER, how you can become the go-to retirement plan team. And in terms of our agenda, we're going to talk about the 3 action steps that you can take today. Who is 401k Marketing? And then we're going to open it up for some Q&A at the end. But before we jump into it, I just want to let you know that today's presentation is an interactive presentation. And we're going to have a couple of questions throughout where if you look at the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you're going to see a Q&A box. I'm going to ask you to enter in what you think are the responses. Don't worry, it's not very hard, but we love interactive presentations here at 401k Marketing. So enter in what the responses, your responses, what you think they are. And as well as that, if you have questions throughout the presentation, everyone has been muted on entry. But if you have questions and you want to type them in, by all means, type them in, and at the end of the presentation today, we'll go over all your questions, and we'll also unmute all of the lines as well, so you can ask directly. So with that, we're going to begin with our first interactive question. So how many advertisements does the average person experience per day? And if everyone just looks in the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you should see that Q&A box. Beautiful. I see the responses coming in right now. Nice. We've got a lot of really fantastic folks on the line today, so thank you so much for attending. The goal after our presentation is to teach you how to become the go-to retirement plan team within your respective area. Okay, everyone, it looks like we have our responses. And I think it's no surprise, but the answer is 5,000. The average person experiences over 5,000 advertisements per day. Wow. Think of it like this. In the morning, you wake up, you open your medicine cabinet, 30 advertisements right there. Hop in your car, you're driving to work, turn on the radio. 15 advertisements throughout the course of your drive, maybe more. You get to work, you open a web page, you're looking at somewhere between 5 and 15 advertisements per web page that you visit. Add those all up over the course of 24 hours, 5,000. So our challenge as retirement plan professionals is to break through this 5,000 advertisements per day to gain mind share with the plan sponsors and the decision makers at the company. So here's our next question. Talking about the competitive landscape, how many active financial advisors are in the United States? Do you think it's A, 100,000, or B, 200,000? Wow, you have some really smart folks on the line today. This is awesome. Yes, it is 200,000 practicing financial advisors in our country today. It doesn't count registered people. These are the folks who are out there every day actively meeting with clients and prospects and conducting business. Slight difference there. Interestingly enough, of this 200,000, only 6%, in a study recently done, only 6% were classified as retirement plan professionals. Also, 91% of advisors, it's from a Fidelity study, 91% of advisors who have a retirement plan client, so they actively are working with a retirement plan, were accommodating, that's the key word, the business owner as part of their wealth management services, 91%, which is crazy. And only 6% are specialists within the space. So a lot of opportunity for specialists to genuinely raise your brand equity, to alert plan sponsors, educate plan sponsors on the difference and the benefit of working with qualified experts. So here's our challenge. How do we stand out? And the power of niche marketing. So the first challenge is niche branding. Niche branding is a beautiful thing. I just shared with you there's 200,000 advisors in the industry, only 6% of retirement plan professionals. So by niche branding your office, you become Googleable. Well, think of this. The last time you went to purchase a product, where did you start your search? Most folks would say Google. That's what I would say. And when you start to have niche branding and marketing and collateral and blogs and articles that are on your site that are not cookie cutter, you start to develop your niche brand and your voice. And by that differentiation, you become Googleable. Once you establish yourself as a retirement plan advisor and specialist, a couple of beautiful things happen. One, you become a genuine center of influence. People look to you as an industry, as a subject matter expert, which creates referrals into your business. When we first start with new offices, they always joke that their phone lines are one way. They can only make outbounds. Inbounds doesn't happen. There's no such thing as a phone call into the office. Their phones are one directional, outbound. Well, after working with us for a while, those phones actually start to go two ways, back and forth. So becoming a center of influence, having and receiving referrals, because you're known throughout as an expert. And then I actually think this is very important. It allows you time to focus. When you're trying to spread yourself throughout the entire financial services industry to know a lot of things, it's very challenging. It's very time-consuming. However, by having a niche and a specialty, it allows you time to read those news articles, understand the industry, really be able to sink your teeth into what's going on. And right now in the retirement plan space, we have so much between Tibble versus Edison, the proposed redefinition of fiduciary, conflict of interest, and the conflict of interest rules, that Napa fly-in that just happened last week. There's just so much going on that if you, by being a specialist, allows you time to focus on that and then talk about it, and then continue the evolution of being known for what you do. So what can we do today? What can you do today to become known as the retirement plan office? Step one, commit to the retirement plan industry. What does that mean? To be properly licensed, to get designations and education, and then to attend industry conferences. That's how we define committing to the industry in terms of step one. There's a lot of folks on the line who are CFEC certified. That's awesome. We love working with CFEC certified offices. You understand the business, you understand the prudent fiduciary process. CFEC makes you flesh out all of your internal processes so that way they're organized and systematic. That is great. So we believe that it's very important, if you're going to be an expert within the space, if you're genuinely going to be able to impact plan sponsors and participant retirement readiness, you have to commit to it. The next thing is professionalize your marketing material. Back in the day, when probably most of us started the retirement plan space, it wasn't a developed market. It was a developing market, definitely not mature. A lot of former OSJs and managing partners, if they're new, I can actually share a story. When I was younger, I was an advisor for a short period of time, and my managing partner said, if you're new and you're hungry and you're young and you want to make a business, you should enter the 401k space. Get a list of 5,500s and then call through and set up meetings and build your book that way. Well, in today's day and age, the retirement plan space is a lot more complicated than that, and than I think it used to be or is thought of. So one of the ways that you can stand out against advisors, that 200,000 we talked about, one of the ways that you can stand out as a qualified expert is to have marketing material that speaks to what you bring to the table, that talks about your fiduciary process, that talks about how you're going to engage with fund sponsors, walk them through a story, and also the participant experience, how you're going to get participants on track to reach retirement readiness. And then this is where we're going to spend the majority of our presentation today. How can you get the word out? What can you do in a systematic way that's going to build your brand reputation, and it's going to allow you to strengthen your industry voice and your community voice? So what you see in front of you, this is the brochure. I'm going to send it to every person who's on our webinar today after our call, and this is a roadmap. This is actually something that we do on a regular basis for a majority of our clients, and it talks about the steps that your office can take today through direct, global, social, and then how your office organizes it all in order to outline the roadmap for marketing success. And this is what it looks like a little bit more up close. So you have direct, global, social, and then how your office can internally coordinate so that way you can hit each one of these trolley marks along the way, the subway marks along the way. But again, I'm going to share this with everyone at the end of our presentation as a takeaway. Well, hopefully I didn't scare everyone showing you that giant screen of marketing. So let's take a step back. Where can we begin today? And especially if you're new to marketing, it's best to start small. And we define small in our marketplace as LinkedIn posts, direct mail, and having coffee with centers of influence. LinkedIn posts. Most of us subscribe to newsletters. Newsletters do a really great job of consolidating industry information. Well, the next time you read an article and you find it interesting, go on LinkedIn and write a couple of sentences as to why you feel that it's interesting. And then share it. Share it with the world. You can also use Hootsuite, another way that you can share multiple postings but have a timetable, so that I don't post all at once, so there's a segmented process. Hootsuite. I should also mention this. Today's webinar is part of a series, the brand series, and we're going to walk through different, in each one of the subsequent webinars, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into not just what to do, but how to do it. So in our next webinar, which is next month in August, we're going to actually talk about LinkedIn, Hootsuite, newsletters, and how to craft the right posts to share with your listening audience. We welcome you to join those. The next thing is direct mail. So it is the year 2015, and can you guess what medium has the highest deliverability and open rate? Now, that's an unfair question because everyone on the line is muted, but the answer is direct mail. 2015, the answer is direct mail. Fascinating. Highest deliverability rate and also highest open rate. And direct mail has a lingering ability. So if you design something that's interesting or unique or cool, it lingers for a while. So people tend to keep it around their offices. One of our clients actually got a call from a prospect. He had his direct mailer, kind of like the three that you see there, on his desk for 6 months. 6 months he stared at that thing, and then he called him up and he goes, hey, we just got a letter from our provider. There's going to be some changes. Had your direct mailer here on my desk for 6 months. I figured I'd give you a call. 6 months. So lingerability, we're big fans of direct mail here at 401k Marketing. And then one of the other ideas are center of influence outreach. This is kind of fun. Once a month, 30 minutes, have coffee or share a meal with someone who you define as a center of influence. That could be, we like to define center of influence as CPAs, attorneys, CPAs, individuals who have more than 500 connections on LinkedIn. Those people seem to be kind of in the know and aware of who's who within the community. If you do that for 30 minutes a month, each month, your business will grow pretty substantially, and you'll be able to share your retirement plan expertise with people who are also connected to business owners and plan sponsors. For the middle of the road marketing individuals, these are three things that we also recommend: a little bit more time on the front end and with compliance, and a little bit more of a commitment. But writing a blog article, hosting a webinar, and publishing an infographic. The first time you write a blog article, whew, it's like high school all over again. It is painful, the words are slow, forgot where to put commas, but after you write a couple of them, it starts to come back, you find your natural voice, and a lot of people actually end up enjoying them. They're kind of fun. These are all examples that we've done in the past. We actually ghostwrite for our clients. So ghostwriting articles, we host webinars, and then we also do the infographics. But for articles today are so powerful for a couple of reasons. One, it increases your SEO on your website and your Googleability. You can publish and post them on LinkedIn, and a lot of online media sources, like your local community newspapers, they are starving for content. So if you share your information with your local business insiders or your local SHRM group, chances are they'll probably send it or publish it on their website, and that also helps increase their brand exposure. The next one is host a webinar. This is a fantastic way to deliver value to your clients. So talking to your clients about what's going on in the retirement plan industry, how can they be more compliant, for example? How can they increase retirement readiness, for example? How can they think about their company's retirement plan in a different way, and that way is you're the voice that teaches them that way. So keeping plan sponsors informed, and then you can record them, you can post them on your website, you can follow up with people who expressed interest, send them to centers of influence, lots of different ways that you can share and repurpose future webinar content. And then infographics. Infographics are the new way that people communicate. You kind of blink, your mind absorbs the information, which is why they are so powerful. Same thing, publish them on social media, put them on your website, post them on your website, keep people interested in what you have to say, it seems fresh and alive and new, and then share them locally with the community, SHRM networks, centers of influence, publications, and they'll pick them up as well. And now for the mavericks, the marketing mavericks that we have on the line, here are three interesting and different ideas. Issue a press release, publish a white paper, and host an event. These all take a lot more time and commitment, but they're once done, they really last a long while. They go the marketing distance. Press releases have an incredibly high Googleability score. Folks who own and operate the PR websites, great rankings amongst Google. So when people in the future are searching for you, this is going to be one of the top 3 things that comes up. So if you do a press release, we highly recommend that you work with a team that has PR background. There's some rules, some unspoken rules in the press world that you just want to make sure that you're aware of. Publish a white paper. White papers take time, but they, they're so good for thought leadership as an idea. And then host an event. Hosting an event, you can get local spotlight on your event. You can have press attend your event. It's something interesting, and not a lot of people are doing it right now, probably. So it's a really fantastic way to increase your company's brand equity and become the go-to retirement plan expert. Well, with that, I just want to say a couple things. It's very important that whenever you're doing a marketing campaign, you consistently do it. I think the main theme here is ongoing, or as Justice Breyer would say, continuously, continuously doing marketing, nurturing multiple touches and multiple influences. So see the middle stat, it says multiple touches, 7 touches needed to convert a cold lead into a sale. Well, we actually feel that that's probably more like 70 touches. In our first slide, if you remember, we shared that the average person experiences 5,000 advertisements per day. So how can you break through that brand wall to get your name in the mind space and the plan sponsors? And we think it's about 70 based on kind of our internal findings here. And then multiple influencers. When you're working with a company, there's going to be layers of decision makers. There's obviously the president or the owner, and then you have the CFO, sometimes the COO, the controller, head of human resources, and there's usually not one person who's going to make the decision, but a series of people who buy into the decision. So as you're thinking about your marketing strategy and who you should be targeting, cast a wide net when you're working with different companies, because you want to make sure that you're including everyone over time within your campaign, so that way when you do eventually get that opportunity to present your skill set, they're all familiar with who you are, and then it'll make it an easier buying cycle. Okay, so back to the interactive portion of our presentation, and this is our last question before I've got a couple more slides, and we're at 21 minutes, so we're doing pretty good. So this is from a statistic based on the Small Business Association of America, what percentage of annual income is recommended to spend on marketing your business? So if everyone doesn't mind, on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, there's that Q&A box again. All right, it's 8%, which is, we're a marketing firm here, so obviously we would love it if everyone spent 8% of their gross revenue on marketing. We understand that that's probably not going to happen. Fidelity actually did a study recently that the average RIA firm spends about 2% of their gross rev on marketing. Think about whenever you're thinking about marketing that there's the hard dollar cost that you outlay, and then there's the intangibles like time. So when you add it all up, somewhere between 2 and 8% is probably pretty good. It's an interesting study that Fidelity did, but if you do 2.6% of your gross rev in a marketing budget, it actually is shown to increase your overall annual revenue by 40%. So kind of cool. All right, this is a slide that so whenever you're doing marketing, it's going to take time. It takes a lot of time and dedication and commitment. It is a commitment, both emotionally, spiritually, and financially, and it's going to take 2 years. What we found is with an aggressive marketing campaign that's consistent, you have to have a consistent marketing campaign, because consistency is what builds trust. By the end of a 2-year cycle, you'll start to hear people know who you are, recognize who you are, and actually be able to tell you your brand story. Kind of cool how that works. We actually, at the end of year 1, this is not the norm, this is the exception, but at the end of year 1 with one of our firms, we contacted a plan sponsor, and we said, they had opened an email, so our protocol is to give them a call afterwards. So they opened a plan email, we called them, we're like, hi, in this case it was Melissa. So Melissa was like, hi, it's Melissa, calling on behalf of the firm that we're working with. And they go, yeah, we know who you are. Yeah, you're the team over in, and they said the name of the town. They're like, you do return plans. And this person, a year ago, didn't have a clue who that firm was, no clue. And then a year later, after consistently marketing, and I mean, we're talking at least 9 different touches per quarter, they knew. They're like, oh yeah, I knew who you are, which was fantastic. Again, not the norm, but it's pretty cool. It takes about 2 years of consistency, and then you really start to see your company being able to break through that brand wall to become the go-to retirement plan team. So with that, think big, start small. That's okay, but most importantly, act today. Marketing does take time, so the quicker you act, and the quicker you're going to see the lift within your practice. With that, we have about 5 minutes for Q&A. Little commercial, we're 401k marketing. We work exclusively with retirement plan advisors and TPAs, and we develop brand. You've actually seen samples of all of our work throughout this presentation. We develop brand, and that includes marketing materials, brochures, pitch decks, biographies. One of the things that sets our company apart from others is that we write the copy. We've been in the industry for 11 years now, so we physically write the copy, and we also do all the designing in-house as well. So it's a bundled package. And then awareness campaigns. We actively run awareness campaigns for our clients as well to help them become the go-to retirement plan experts, and that includes the copy, the design, and the coordination on an ongoing basis. Okay, and I'm true to my word. We have about 5 minutes left for Q&A, and I'm going to hit the pause button for just a moment, and I'm going to open up all of our lines so that way we can get some questions. And let me also check to see if we had any questions come in on the queue. So just one moment, and thank you so much. I really look forward to speaking with every one of you. Just a moment.